Dear students, welcome back to the video lecture of module number 4. Chapter is waste management. When the term we use, the waste, so waste is nothing but when the material becomes unwanted or useless. Like, as you know that the wastes which are produced from the household may be like this: rubbish, trash, refuse, garbage, junk, etc. So waste is also defined as the unwanted or waste material generated by various animal or human activities is simply known as waste. Now, what are the types of wastes? As you know, the waste are produced maybe in the solid state, maybe in the liquid state, or maybe in the gaseous state, looking at the physical states. And also, the waste may be in the form of animal byproducts, biodegradable wastes, chemical waste which are produced from the chemical industries or laboratories, commercial wastes or business wastes, biomedical wastes are released from the hospital, or bulky wastes which are produced from the industries, etc. Now, let us continuation of the sources of solid waste. The solid waste consists of the discarded materials from residential activities or industrial activities, agriculture activities, commercial activities, or maybe mining process, construction activities, demolition of any constructions, or municipal wastes, or manufacturing plants, etc. are the major sources for the solid waste. So my dear students, in this chapter you are going to study about the how to manage the solid waste. So solid waste management means what? It is nothing but the collecting, treating and disposing of solid material that is discarded because it has served its purpose or it is no longer useful is known as simply solid waste management. So what are the sources for the solid waste management? As in the slide what I have depicted, the waste may be produced from the agriculture, maybe by the fisheries, or maybe household appliances, or commercial or industries, etc. are the sources. So in this chapter you have to study about solid waste and its management. Let us define solid waste management in diplomatic or in proper manner. A solid waste is nothing but it is a non-liquid, non-soluble materials ranging from municipal garbage to industrial wastes that contain complex and sometimes hazardous substances. Or solid waste is also defined as the unwanted or waste material generated in the solid state by various animal or human activities is known as solid waste. As I discussed in the previous concept, the solid waste may be some specific examples, like from the household you can take paper, metal, glass, plastics, wood, cloth, organic wastes such as vegetables, garbage, rubbish, demolition products, sewage waste residue, dead animals, manure, and other discarded materials are what? Some of the examples for the solid waste. So how much solid waste is generated per capita per day? Means how much solid waste is generated by individual in any of the country. So per capita solid waste output depends upon their utilization. It is ranging from 0.25 to 2.5 kg per day. Now types of solid wastes. Broadly, here there are three types of solid waste which are as follows. Household waste as municipal waste, industrial waste as hazardous waste, biomedical waste as the hospital waste as the infectious waste. So how to decide the characteristics of the wastes which are produced? Wastes are characterized by the following parameters by the consideration: by looking at its density, by looking at its moisture content or water content, by looking at its size distribution of materials, and by the consideration of permeability of waste, means its reactivity or non-reactivity, or by the consideration of the heat produced by the waste, that is what calorific value of the waste. Now let us discuss disposal methods of solid waste. As it is known commonly, dumping. Whenever you have been seen, maybe in your locality or maybe in the street, so most of the household wastes have been thrown beside the road. So here, what is meant by dumping? Low lying areas mainly used for dry refuges. By this method, reclaimed land given for the cultivation. The dumping by this method is the methods what we are using for the dumping process. Maybe unsanitary method, not the consideration of hygienity, exposed to the flies or rodents, nuisance, causing the harm or damage, or dispersed by the wind, releasing the smell, and pollution by the water, or leading to pollution for the water. Second is what? Control tipping or sanitary landfill. So this is the most popular solid waste disposal method used today. Garbage is basically spread out in thin layers, compressed, and it is covered with the soil. And modern landfills are designed in such a way that the bottom of the landfill is covered with the resistant lining. Resistance means non-reactive lining, which is usually made up of several layers of the following: maybe plastic or charcoal or maybe sand. So then afterwards the waste is added, which is covered by the mud or soil. This is what you can say the sanitary landfill. Now third one, incineration or burning. This method is known to everyone. It is common method for disposal of the household waste. So this method involves burning of solid waste as at high temperatures until the wastes are turned into the ashes. Incinerations or the burning are made in such a way that they do not give extreme amount of heat energy when it is burnt. Means solid waste, when it is burnt, there is no release of more amount of energy. This method of solid waste management can be done by individual or maybe municipalities and also even in institutions. The good thing about this method is the fact that it reduces the volume of waste up to 20 to 30% of its original volume. Then next one is recovery and recycling. But here recovery and recycling of resources is the best technique for the disposal of waste. Here the resources are, before to process, we have to decide whether some of the metals, looking at their conditions, they are useful or not useful. So before to process, traditionally the wastes are cleaned and processed. This process aims at reducing the energy loss, consumption of new materials and reduction of the landfills. Then next method is composting. Composting is also known as vermiculture waste technique. So what do you mean by composting? Composting is the technique used for the treatment of municipal solid waste. In short form, what you can write? MSW. So municipal solid waste contains high organic matter, that is maybe the source of plant or animal. Due to lack of adequate space or landfills, biodegradable yards are taking an important role for to decompose by the microorganisms using by vermicomposting or home composting, etc. These are what are special designed for to dispose the waste. In this composting process, only biodegradable wastes are only used for the composting, and as a result we are maintaining good quality environment and we are able to get a manure which is formed by the compost that can be used for the agriculture purpose as a fertilizer. So this is how the composting is done. As you know that the waste of raw materials, as you know that it may be the organic form, may be produced from the animal or maybe the human being, composed of carbon content obviously, so it contains chemical energy, proteins, nitrogen, etc. So these are the nutrients. When they have been dumped and treated with the sufficient amount of water and air from the atmosphere, so these these wastes are going to be decomposed by the microorganisms or the worms present inside the soil. As a result, there is a release of carbon dioxide and water and also heat. Okay, then the product what you are getting, it is the finished compost, that is organic matter. It also has the same composition of including carbon, chemical energy, nitrogen, proteins, humus, etc. So this is how the composting is the best method for the disposal of the wastes. So thank you one and all. Next concept we'll see e-waste and biomedical waste in the next video.